Welcome back to GA Fan TV. Roscommon have beaten Tyrone by a scoreline of 311 to 112. A massive, massive victory for Roscommon. Obviously, you just have watched the third coverage there on TG Car, and sensational win. The first win in either league or championship for Roscommon since 2001 against Tyrone. And that really does put things into perspective. It's a massive, massive victory for them when you think about it. Like a lot of people, including myself in many ways, would expect Roscommon to be thereabouts in the the relegation battle. I did back them to stay up, in my predictions video, and I do think they obviously will stay up. But a massive win, a massive, massive win, a statement win in many ways. 5 points in the end. Maybe the scoreline slightly, flatters Roscommon in the fact that they obviously got that late goal by Ben O'Carroll, but at the same time, more than deserved and by far the better team in the end. And yeah, like under Davy Burke, Roscommon, like I think they're going places. I think they're really, really onto something here under Davy Burke, because they've always been a team that's not a million miles away from competing with the top teams in the country. Like, when you think about it, they always give Galway and Mayo close matches. They beat them every now and again. They're very, very competitive when they play those two. And how many times in the last couple of years have we seen both Mayo and Galway compete for the All-Ireland? Think of Galway last year, Mayo in the past. So like Roscommon, they have the talent, they have the players, the under-20s coming through as well that we saw in 2021. So like they have a lot of very, very good players in their team. And, it's good to see Davy Burke getting a tune out of these lads. Young manager, young up-and-coming manager. And what a way, for your first game to go for Davy Burke, to get that victory against Tyrone. And, onwards and upwards for them. And I think, they really could be onto something special this year. I really, really do believe that. And I also think as well, it's a massive victory. And I think, they'll only be looking upwards in the table from now on, rather than behind them. So massive, massive result. But from a Tyrone perspective, like I don't know what's going on with them at the moment. There seems to be a lot wrong with Tyrone. When you think about it, since their All-Ireland win, and I'm going to go back and actually have a look at all the games that they've played, competitive football matches that they've played since their All-Ireland win. I'd say they must have only probably won 3 or 4 of them, to be honest with you. And that's crazy to think, like since 2021, since that All-Ireland victory, they've just completely fallen off the grid and, got absolutely humbled by Derry in the McKenna Cup final. And yeah, like they had a couple of good moments in this game, like especially at the start of the second half when they get that goal, which I think it was a long ball by McGeary and it might have been flicked in by Darren McCurry. And it was sort of a goal that came out of nowhere, really. There wasn't too much, huge amount of quality in the goal. But, they got a couple of points after that, from the likes of Darren McCurry. I think it might have been Richie Donnelly. Just having a look at the score BO app. It might have been Richie Donnelly who got that goal, actually. But nonetheless, like they kicked a couple of points after that and you're thinking, right, they have the wind, because there was a bit of a strong wind from looking on the TV and from what I've seen from people at the game. Hence why Roscommon were sort of running it through the middle, trying to go for goals in the second half. They have the win, they have the momentum. You'd expect them to kick on and win it, and they just didn't do so. And, obviously that first goal from Roscommon, brilliant ball from Enda Smith into German Murtagh. I mean, the awareness to play that pass, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, German Murtagh, like completely unmarked, like, sort of at the back, at the back post, like no one picking him up, and he's able to take control of it, pick his spot and bury it. And yeah, like Tyrone just looked very, very lethargic as well. There was no want or desire from them really to try get back into it. And look, it is the opening day of the league, and I think I've said that maybe, 3-4 times already in these match reactions. Maybe I should ban myself from saying that, but like it is worrying times for Tyrone, because relegation is a real possibility. I think they're in massive, massive danger of going down. And considering the young players that are coming through, like the under-20 All-Ireland winners, like there is great players in the county. For whatever reason, Fergal Logan and Brian Dooher are reluctant to play them. Like there was no Rory Canavan, wasn't even in the panel. And I know some people say like he's still eligible to play with the under-20s. And yeah, like look, that's fair enough. But he's good enough to play senior, in my opinion. Like you're telling me he wouldn't have improved that Tyrone attack. Like just looking at it, Dara Canavan, I think, was the only player who offered any spark for Tyrone in terms of attack. He hit 2 points. Other than that, like nothing from Matty Donnelly. Colin McShane goes off. Like Darren McCurry added a bit coming off the bench. To be fair, he had 3 points. Richie Donnelly, when he came on, scored 1-1. Noel Sludden scored a point, but a lot of players there that's just not really, attacking wise, that not getting the best out of. Conor Moyler was fairly quiet. There was nothing. David Mulgrew, there was nothing really in it there from a Tyrone attack. And I think having someone like Rory Canavan just coming off the bench, I think it would make a big, big impact. Even Connor Cush as well was another player I was impressed with in pre-season. So, a lot of worries from a Tyrone perspective. But at the same time, Roscommon, very, very impressive. Ben O'Carroll looks like a very good addition to this Roscommon team. 1-2, his debut as well, from what I heard. And what a fantastic way to make your debut. Scored 2 points early on, got himself a goal right at the death as well. Very good finish. Great composure, sort of in a big moment as well, because that very much sort of sealed the victory for Roscommon. So like there were, like a really, really good. Even Connor Cox, I thought, played well. He scored 2 points, but his build-up play was good. He was getting tackles in, tracking back, better from Connor Cox, as opposed to previous years. He has the ability and skill levels. German Murtha, big game player once again. Think of the big goals he got last year. Once again on the score sheet here. Dara Craig, another young player who's come into the side, looks like a good addition. Niall Daly was fantastic. Man of the match, I felt, in at number 7. 3 points from him. One fantastic point with the outside of his boot right before the end of the first half. Brian Stack with a score as well. So, like, Roscommon, and they were very well organised as well. Like, Tyrone couldn't really get in behind them. The goal wasn't really a goal chance. It was just an effort for a point that I think, just dropped down and was flicked on by Donnelly, but there was nothing really in it. They didn't really have too many goal chances, to be fair. And Roscommon managed the game very, very well, controlled it well, very mature performance. And, a big win for them, because they've been a team that, we know they have these performances in them. They have the ability in them. They just they couldn't quite get it right consistently enough under Anthony Cunningham, and even under Kevin McStay as well. Although they won Connacht titles under both of those two managers, it wasn't perfect, really. Like, they just couldn't quite get over the line against the big sides. And to be fair, Tyrone were fairly terrible. Like, as I said, they were really, really poor. But I think a lot of credit has to go to Roscommon in how they approached this game and how they played. But yeah, plenty of comments flying in there, so much appreciated. Farney Fan TV says we're not bottom. Yeah, definitely a good positive to have from a Monaghan point of view. Gavin says, as someone said in your preview, Roscommon didn't beat Tyrone in 20 years, so nice to get that monkey off the back. Yeah, like, I went back and had a look before doing this stream, and it was 2001 the last time the Roscommon beat Tyrone. So I mean, that's an incredible statistic right there, and sensational stuff, really. Senan says, what a win. Sensational win, definitely. P says, always had a soft spot for Roscommon. Tyrone, on the other hand, yeah, I don't think many people have a soft spot for Tyrone, in fairness. Just a lot wrong with Tyrone. Like, we're seeing it in the papers and online and everything else, that players aren't committing and not making themselves available, and like, indiscipline again. Like, there was a black card for Munro, I think. Didn't see what it was for, to be honest with you. Missed it, but again, like, just more indiscipline, and we're seeing that a lot with Tyrone. And as I said, since that All-Ireland win in 2021, like, how many games have they won? I think 3 games they've won in both league and championship. And like, that's not good enough, really, from a team like Tyrone. So I think Tyrone are in a bit of bother, to be honest with you. I'm not too sure who they're playing next week, but they need to get a victory. They need to start getting points on the board, because, playing the likes of Kerry when they've a full team back, Galway, Mayo, like, I could see them taking points off Tyrone. Only thing with Tyrone is they're cute as anything, and they find ways to get results when you're back against them. So you would expect them to pull off, to pull out 1 or 2 results from absolutely nothing. But at the same time, a lot of worries there. But Roscommon looking very, very strong under Davy Burke, and I think a lot of positives if you're a Roscommon fan. Obviously, a long way to go yet, and look, there'll be tougher games than this one. And I think the big thing for Roscommon will be consistency and trying to build on this. But I think with some of the young lads in there, the likes of Ben O'Carroll, who looked very good, Dara Craig looked very good as well. I think there's a lot to be positive for. Enda Smith again set up 2 of the goals. Very, very good performance from him again. Senan says, will Roscommon get relegated or will they survive? I think they'll be grand. I think they'll be, and I think they might actually stay up pretty comfortably, to be honest with you, the way you're looking at things. I mean, it's going to be tough. Like, it's Division 1's always a bit mental, and you're seeing Donegal beat Kerry, Mayo and Galway drawn, Armagh getting over the line against Monaghan, but you just never know. Like, Monaghan could go out and beat Kerry next week with Kerry not having a fully fit team, and then before you know it, Kerry are in a relegation battle. It's mad, really, but Roscommon, realistically, 3 wins usually is enough, isn't it? 6 points is usually enough. They've got a win here. I think they can beat Monaghan. I think they can beat Donegal. So, like, I think that 2 wins from the remaining 6 matches, and I think that they'll be as good as anything to stay in the league. So yeah, I think Roscommon will be a-okay in Division 1. Big result, massive win for Roscommon. I will be going live after Meath and Cork are on now in the third coverage. I don't know why they didn't have them just as double headers. It would have made a lot more sense than this, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, we'll be going live after that game anyway. Obviously, a massive result for Meath. We obviously knew. I mean, that was an interesting thing watching this game as well. You already knew the result, so you knew it was going to go wrong somewhere for Tyrone. But there was times watching that where I thought, like, geez, how have Tyrone thrown this away? Like, there were 3 points up, I think, with about 20 minutes to go, and then they still managed to blow it completely and lose by 5. So, very surprising stuff. But yeah, big result for Roscommon. We'll be going live after the Cork Meath game. That's the third on TG Caher now. So I'll see you all a little bit later. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all later.